continue with Chapter 9, Part 2. Did you see his face, that great lump? The other Slytherins joined in. Shut up, Malfoy, snapped Bavardi Patil. Oh, sticking up for Longbottom, said Pansy Parkinson, a hard-faced Slytherin girl. Never thought you'd like a fat little crybaby, Bavardi. Look, said Malfoy, darting forward, snatching something out of the grass. It's that stupid thing that Longbottom's grandmother sent him. The Remembrall glittered in the sun as he held it up. And here's the picture of where they were practicing. Give that here, Malfoy, said Harry quietly. Everyone stopped talking to watch. Malfoy smiled nastily. I think I'll leave it somewhere for Longbottom to collect. How about up in a tree? Give it here, Harry yelled. But Malfoy had leapt on his broomstick and taken off. He hadn't been lying. He could fly well. Hovering level with the topmost branches of the oak tree, he called out, Come and get it, Potter. Harry grabbed his broom. No, shouted Hermione Granger. Madam Hooch told us not to move. You'll get us all in trouble. Harry ignored her. Blood was pounding in his ears. He mounted the broom and kicked hard against the ground. Up, up, up he soared. Air rushed through his hair, and his robes whipped out behind him. In a rush of fierce joy, he realized he'd found something he could do without being taught. This was easy. This was wonderful. He pulled up his broomstick a little to take it even higher and heard screams and gasps of girls on the ground and an admiring whoop from Ron. He turned his broomstick sharply to face Malfoy in the air. Malfoy looked stunned. Give it here, Harry called, or I'll knock you off your broom. Oh yeah, said Malfoy, trying to sneer, but looking kind of worried. Harry knew somehow what to do. He leant forward, grasped the broom tightly in both hands, and shot towards Malfoy like a javelin. Malfoy only just got out of the way in time. Harry made a sharp turn and then held the broom steady. A few people below were clapping. No Crab and Goyle here to help save your neck, Harry said. The same thought seemed to have struck Malfoy. Well, catch it if you can, he shouted, and then he threw the glass ball high into the air and it streaked back towards the ground. Harry saw, as though in slow motion, the ball rise up in the air and then start to fall. He leant forward and pointed his broom handle down. The next second, he was gathering speed in a steep dive, racing the ball. Wind whistled in his hair, mingled with the screams of people watching. He stretched out his hand, a foot from the ground. He caught it, just in time to pull his broom up straight. He toppled gently onto the grass with the Remembrall clutched safely in his fist. Harry Potter! His heart sank faster than he dived. Professor McGonagall was running towards them. He got to his feet, trembling. Never in all my time at Hogwarts. Professor McGonagall was almost speechless, and her glasses flashed furiously. How dare you! You might have broken your neck. It wasn't his fault, Professor. Be quiet, Miss Patil. But Malfoy, that's enough, Mr. Weasley. Potter, follow me now. Harry caught sight of Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle's triumphant faces as he left, walking numbly in Professor McGonagall's wake as she strode towards the castle. He was going to be expelled. He knew it. He wanted to say something to defend himself, but there seemed to be something wrong with his voice. Professor McGonagall was sweeping along without even looking at him. He had to jog to keep up. Now he had done it. He hadn't even lasted 2 weeks. He'd be packing his bags in 10 minutes. What would the Dursleys say when he turned up on the doorstep? Up the front steps, up the marble staircase inside, and still Professor McGonagall didn't say a word to him. She wrenched open the doors and marched along the corridors with Harry trotting miserably behind her. Maybe she was taking him to Dumbledore. He thought of Hagrid, expelled but allowed to stay as a gamekeeper. Perhaps he could be Hagrid's assistant. His stomach twisted as he imagined it, watching Ron and the others becoming wizards while he stumped around the grounds, carrying Hagrid's bag. Professor McGonagall stopped outside a classroom. She opened the door and poked her head inside. Excuse me, Professor Flitwick, could I borrow wood for a minute? Wood, Harry thought, bewildered. Was wood a cane she was going to use on him? But Wood turned out to be a person, a burly fifth-year boy who came out of Flitwick's class looking confused. "Follow me, you two," said Professor McGonagall, and they marched up the corridor, Wood looking curiously at Harry. "In here." Professor McGonagall pointed them to a classroom which was empty except for Peeves, who was busy writing rude words on the blackboard. "Out, Peeves," she barked. Peeves threw the chalk into a bin, which clanged loudly, and he swooped out cursing. Professor McGonagall slammed the door behind him and turned to face the two boys. "Potter, this is Oliver Wood. Wood, I found you a seeker." Wood's expression changed from puzzlement to delight. "Are you serious, Professor?" "Absolutely," said Professor McGonagall. "This boy is a natural. I've never seen anything like it. Was that your first time on a broomstick, Potter?" Harry nodded silently. He didn't have a clue what was going on, but he didn't seem to be getting expelled, and some of the feeling started coming back to his legs. "He caught that thing in his hand after a 50-foot dive," Professor McGonagall told Wood. "Didn't even have a scratch on him. Charlie Weasley couldn't have done it better." Wood was now looking as though all his dreams had come true at once. "Have you ever seen the game of Quidditch, Potter?" he asked excitedly. "Wood is captain of the Gryffindor team," Professor McGonagall explained. "He's just the build for a seeker too," said Wood, now walking around Harry and staring at him. "Light, speedy. We'll have to get him a decent broom, Professor. A Nimbus 2000 or a Clean Sweep 7, I'd say. I shall speak to Dumbledore and see if we can't bend the first-year rule a little. Heavens knows we need a better team than last year. Flattened in that last match by Slytherin. I couldn't look Severus Snape in the face for weeks." Professor McGonagall peered sternly over her glasses at Harry. "I want to hear that you're training hard, Potter, or I might change my mind about punishing you." Then she suddenly smiled. "Your father would have been proud," she said. "He was an excellent Quidditch player himself." All right, we will stop there and then continue.